This is Dr. Harry Anderson. One very common question I get is, how should I change my horse from one feeding program to another? How long should I take to transition it? This has been a confusing term to me because I'm not sure I understand why you need to transition if you're going from one pelleted program to another pelleted program that has the same digestibility and very similar nutritional package. There should really be no need to transition it. If you're changing from a cracked grain or a sweet feed to a pellet, you might want to take it a little slow because the digestibilities are going to change. But there again, it's going to take very little time unless you're feeding a lot of feed, which I don't believe in feeding a lot of starchy feeds. So if you're feeding 8 or 10 pounds of one program and you're going to go to 8 or 10 pounds of another program of different digestibilities, maybe you do want to take a week to kind of mix them, because you're not going to hurt the horse mixing two products like that are cracked grain and pellets. That's not going to be any big problem. Where you can get in a problem is where you're mixing two products that maybe have not only a different digestibility, but a different effect on digestibility. What I'm talking about is if you're going from a program that is extruded and it has the nutrient profiles that really accelerate fermentation in the hind gut. Now, all of a sudden you have some raw starch from a pellet or sweet feed going into the hind gut, and it's fermenting, and you have this extruded feed that is increasing the fermentation and digestibility, and if you mix them together, they get into the hind gut, and all of a sudden the fermentation of that starch gets real fast. What happens then? You get gas and lactic acid production. You get colic, or you can get some founder based on this. So what do you do when you're going from this pelleted feed or sweet feed or something like that to an extruded feed? You take them off the starchy feed, the raw starch feed, for 24 hours. You just set it aside. Let the horse eat all the hay at once. The horse is not going to suffer in 24 hours without some grain. Then you go right in and start feeding this extruded feed because there is no danger of colic or founder because there's no raw starch in there. And the transmission is made in 24 hours with zero danger of any colic or founder.